Hey, Hope Group time again. Hope you have a great time opening your hearts, praying for one another, growing strong in Jesus. Really go for it. Here's what we're going to do today. I'm going to rehearse to set up the discussion question. I'm going to rehearse what we went over Sunday morning just real quickly. There's a guy came to Jesus, said, hey, make my brother divide the inheritance. Jesus basically said, listen, who made me the judge to decide something like this? He said, listen, I didn't come to divide. I came to bring people together. What this guy wanted is he wanted his older brother to divide the inheritance with him, because under kind of Jewish custom, if just one brother wanted the inheritance divided, then the older brother was obligated to do that. The older brother obviously didn't want to do that. The younger brother wanted it done. So he comes to Jesus and says, come on, Jesus, make him do it. Jesus won't do it, but instead he tells a parable about a guy who got rich off of God. His field started really producing, so he wanted to build bigger barns. And what did he do with those barns? He started putting more produce, more of the field in those barns, so he could get richer and richer and richer and relax at the end of his life. But here's what Jesus calls him. He says, you're a fool. Now, why is he a fool? And the word fool there, like there's 4 words for fool in the Greek. He uses the worst word for fool. He says, we don't like using this word around our kids, but he says, you're stupid. In other words, this was brainless what you did, because he said, tonight, your soul needs to return to its owner. See, here's what's going to happen. All of us are going to return to our owner. That would be God. And so he says this, he says, be really, really wise. You got to know this in life, that no matter what you think, your life is not going to have fulfillment. It's not going to be a wonderful life because you have a lot of things or a lot of riches. Actually, what causes people to feel a sense of fulfillment is when they invest their treasure in God. Now here's what I want to get at. Right after that whole parable, that's when Jesus goes into this thing about anxiety. Therefore I tell you, do not be anxious about your life, what you're going to eat, about your body, what you're going to put on. He talks about the ravens and the lilies. This is where he goes into all of that, and he says, settle down, because he says, in the world, people who do not believe in God, they're searching after all those things. How can I get? Jesus said this, listen, seek after the kingdom of God. Simply, it just means this. Here it is. Put relationships, put the keeping of relationships, put loving relationships, put your relationships above the acquiring of wealth. It's not that God does not want us to acquire wealth. Actually, he wants to give you a bumper crop, but he never wants the gaining of wealth to mean more to you than relationships. He never wants to make a shopping spree and having money for a shopping spree to be more important than our giving to other people. And so here's what I want you to discuss tonight. I want you to talk about those relationships in your life. Discuss them all. The relationships in your life that are more important to you than money. Talk about your family. Why are the people of the family you'd mentioned, why are they more important than your money? But it's got to stretch beyond that. There needs to be other relationships outside of just your own immediate family that are more important to you than money. Because here's what happens. When we put relationships above our wealth, then God can do what God always does. He can make our fields yield bumper crops. Why? So we can build barns and just keep getting more and more and more? No, so we can keep investing and strengthening and helping our relationships in every way. Talk about those relationships, and I hope God is at the top of your list. That's more important to you than wealth. Have a great night.